I'm doing a strange little video in my pyjama shorts because I just do not have time, not to cook because I'm going to cook later, but I'm not cooking something original. I'm cooking something from, it's a recipe because Tom made coconut rice and I only do this on a Tuesday. I made coconut rice and we've got leftover rice, so I need to do, I'm going to do some rice pancakes, but I don't know how to do them because it's not my recipe, so I can't share it on here because I feel like that's stealing. So instead, I'm going to sort out these boxes whilst answering questions that I asked on Instagram. So I'm going to try and do like a 15-minute video of me answering questions and sorting out these boxes. Enjoy watching someone else tidy them up. This is what I keep like Nellie's like gloves, shoes, socks in, but it's by the front door because for those of you that don't know, we are renovating our house. I think I've mentioned it a couple of times now. And we're in a 2-bedroom flat and my father-in-law lives with us. So we have 1 bedroom with 4 of us in. So stuff is just everywhere. And the hallway is prime space. So I'm gonna sort these out whilst answering questions. So the first question I got on my little notepad, I wrote it down, so please don't think your questions weren't noted. They were literally noted. So the first question is, would I like more children? I'm just gonna move this. This is Nellie's like little peg adapter if you're interested. So would I like more children? Yes. I would like, plural, I would like more children. Tom, not so much. I'm very impulsive and not practical, and I'd be like, I imagine myself living on a farm and raising all these feral children who are just covered in mud and running around, and I strive on chaos. I strive on like busyness. I'm one of the most social people, and I like genuinely, Tom doesn't know how I cope because he's a social recluse, and I probably see like 4 friends a week, but I have lots of best friends. I feel I'm very lucky, but I couldn't not have lots of best friends. I love seeing people. So, I think these might need to go to my niece, 3 to 4, and then it has the longest legs you've ever seen. So I'll put this in a little pile for her. Yeah, so I would like more children for those reasons. And I think I would have always wanted 3 children minimum. My dream was always 4, but having children isn't the easiest. Not fertility wise, I think I mentioned before, we are very lucky. We get pregnant, on my miscarriage video, we get pregnant, touch wood, we always have, very easily. I've had 3 pregnancies, and I've got pregnant within the first or second month of trying. These are all Nellie's sock collars. So her collar that she wears, and people think, oh, that's a lovely collar with that design. No, they're socks. The collar's 250 quid, and all it has on it is a sock. It's insane. Anyway, so I would like more children, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. I need to go in storage. So we have a 1 in 4 chance of that baby having MLD, and the process isn't the nicest. And I shared it once, and people said, I don't understand why you wouldn't do IVF, which is actually would be something called PGD for us, because they have to find, I don't know how it works, but I know the embryo obviously doesn't have to have MLD, so they have to check the sperm and the egg. So, but that's just not something I just don't think I could go. We'd have to go up to London every day for PGD, and it's very intensive, and I don't know if I could cope with it. And I felt like that when we were getting pregnant with Ozzy, I just was something that it wasn't something I wanted to do. And also, there is a 75% chance with MLD that your baby will not have MLD. So there's a 25% chance they'll be a carrier, there's a 25% chance they won't be a carrier or affected, and then there's a 75% chance they'll be a carrier. Like me, like Tom, like Ozzy, we are all carriers as long as Ozzy doesn't meet someone else who has MLD, and he will be tested if he chooses to have children. His partner, or however he chooses to have children, will be tested, and they'll know if they have MLD. So he should be, you know, it should die with us. 4 to 5, that's fine. Let's just skip for a bit longer. So yeah, so the other option, which is the option we chose with Aussie, and the option, to be honest, this is probably going to take up the whole video, this question. The option that we will choose to go down again is to just pray and hope that the pregnancy doesn't have MLD. The pregnancy, the baby isn't affected. So that, the way it worked last time, because we hadn't left it enough time and I didn't really know how any of it worked, so I just got pregnant immediately after Nell's diagnosis because I couldn't not. It felt like the only thing I could do. So the process is, as soon as you're pregnant, you speak to your geneticist, and pretty much the first call is about booking an abortion. And it's very matter of fact, it's very factual, it's very painful. I actually had that call around one of my best friend's houses because I didn't know the person was going to ring, and they rang. I don't know why I have shampoo on my front door. So that is kind of what it is about. And yeah, my best friend was like sat there just crying while listening to me have to have this conversation, as if like all she could think was, as if you haven't been through enough, that now what you're thinking about is this pregnancy that you hope for and pray for, you might have to terminate. And I know a lot of people don't believe in termination, and I'm sorry if that is something you don't believe in, but I am pro-abortion, and you know, I think for lots of reasons, and you know, the black and whiteness of that I can't discuss because it just wasn't meant to be an abortion discussion. So however, that doesn't come with that comes with no lightness. It absolutely broke my heart, the thought of having to have an abortion with Aussie. He was a very much wanted baby, and that's what I think the difference is. And it was so painful having to do that. And so the way it goes is at 8 weeks there is an option which might get too complicated to explain. We didn't have that option at that stage, so they can take your blood earlier. So we applied earlier on in the year for them to do this, where they take our bloods, and then when I'm pregnant they can test the baby's blood at 8 weeks, and if it is missing Tom, so obviously it's going to have mine because it's in my body, if it's missing Tom's MLD, they know for sure, this, I'm not explaining this even slightly correctly, they know for sure, because we've got different strains of MLD, me and Tom, they know for sure that the baby doesn't have MLD, but because it doesn't have both of ours. But if they test it and it has mine, if they test it and it has his, that also doesn't mean that the baby does have MLD, because it might not have my MLD, but mine's always going to show up because it's in my body. So at 8 weeks you can have a test, and if his isn't showing, you know, you're pretty sure that it's going to be okay. But you know, that's one in however many chances of being the case. So what happened with Aussie, and what is more likely to happen, is you have to go and have a scan at like 6 weeks to make sure everything's doing what it should be doing, which, having a scan for a baby that you don't know if you get to keep is agony. But hey, we're in the business of pain, so just pile it all on. So that was exceptionally painful, as I'm sure you can all imagine, on top of the fact that I was like still grieving the fact, well, very much grieving, we're still grieving now, the fact of everything with Nelly, but this was only like 4 months after we found out. So I had to go have a scan at 6 weeks, and then I had to I had to have another scan at 8 weeks, because they need to just make sure everything's still going okay. And then I didn't really get a 12-week scan. Like, I didn't go and see the midwives at 8 weeks or anything like that. It all sort of just gets like, let's not do anything, left. And then, so around 12 weeks, no, it's 13 weeks, we had to go up to London and have a scan to do the CVS. So CVS testing is where the needle goes into your stomach. They take some of the amniotic fluid and then they test the amniotic fluid for genetic diseases, lots of diseases. That's how they test for Down syndrome, Wheel syndrome, lots of different syndromes. If they, like if something has come up on the scan, but if they needed to test before. So we had to go and do that at 13 weeks. And my placenta was covering, so they couldn't do it. To build up to that, it's really strange, because doing this YouTube now, I keep revisiting things that I haven't revisited since I've written, which is earlier in the year I've written it. For some reason I find writing a lot easier than talking. Talking makes me a lot more emotional. So we went up and it's just so awful to see. I don't know why this is making me more emotional than most things. To see your baby wiggling on the screen, and he really wouldn't stop wiggling. He was such a wiggler. So yeah, to see him wiggling like that, and then knowing that 3 weeks later I might have to be going and terminating him. I didn't know it was a he. It's such a pain. That's why when people just think, I don't know why you go through it, like all the risk is all, like the risk, it's not risk, but the pain is calculated. So when people are like, I don't know why you made that decision, it's very unkind, because we are the people who have had to make that decision, and just having to make that decision in itself is exceptionally painful, and it's been done for a reason. So I feel like people have to just trust in that fact, in hope. I'm always hopeful. I'm an eternal optimist, so I always think, even when we go again, I'll be thinking the odds are in our favour, because that's how I work. But anyway, so they couldn't do the testing that day, so we had to be sent home. And honestly, I built myself up so much for that I was just a mess. But in a way, it kind of works, because the week we went back, I was sort of prepared again. I had to look at a scan, so I saw 5 scans of Ozzy in total before I even knew if I got to keep him. And Tom, who is, normally I'm the person that's like, oh, I've got a feeling, I've got this feeling, I've got this. Tom has none of that. Tom has got no feelings about anything. Not feelings, but no, like gut feelings. And he, oh, what age are these? 3 to 4. Oh, well, they're coming your way, baby. So, sorry. Yeah, he had such a good feeling about Ozzy. He had a feeling he was going to be a boy, and he had a feeling he would be absolutely fine. And it worked out really weirdly, because the week before we were going to be having this woman, and she was the one that was like, couldn't do it. I'm not saying it anyway. I love women. I just mean that we were going to be having this female doctor. And then we went back, and she was really, really kind, and I was like, oh, I want her. And then the week later we went back, and we had this male doctor who was much more to the point, like much more, less of a doctor's, I don't know, what's that expression, doctor's bedside manner? He didn't have a bedside manner, but the nurses said to me, like, he is the best of the best for one reason, and that's because when you have CVS testing, there's a 1 in 100 chance that it will terminate the pregnancy in itself, because it's dangerous. You're piercing the sac, so you can cause miscarriage in that sense. Well, not in that sense, just you can cause miscarriage. And they said, like, he's the best of the best in that his percentages for miscarriage occurring afterwards were like the lowest. And he was so precise, like he was telling everyone off a lot in the room, like he wanted everything done a certain way. And even though I was like, ooh, it made me feel very safe, because he was, like I say, he was on it. So he did it, and then like for 3 days I didn't lift Nelly or touch Nelly. Tom took it off work, because we had this horrible phobia that we would I would end up miscarrying because of the CVS, and then we would find out, you know, that the baby had been okay, and so it would have just been like one of those horrible, like, you know, like regret situations. So Tom took 3 days off work. We had that on the Monday, and we were told they would probably call us the week after. But Friday, we were literally sat here on this floor with cuddling Nels, and it was like autumn, and it was Friday afternoon, and like 5 o'clock. So Tom had actually taken more. We knew they were going to call. Maybe they might have called that Friday. So Tom took that afternoon off just because he had a feeling, and I had a feeling they might call then. And they rang, and obviously we'd been partial to bad news at that point. You know, like everything had gone wrong. And they rang and they told us we got to keep him. And it was just mad, like, you know, like to feel like it was really life affirming in the way it was like life's been really cruel to us with everything with Nels. And here we are, and you know, we're getting to keep this baby, and it was really magical. Really magical. Sorry, every time I do this, I've run out of battery. So yeah, super special. And so, do I want more children? We are now 60 minutes in. Yes, I want more children. Like I said, I'd have lots more children. But that's the process to having more children. And I don't actually feel that comfortable talking about it on Instagram. Oh, here's an Aussie. Here's a little miracle. Come here, Baba. Here he is. Here he is. Electric shock. Electric shock. Not impressed, are you? Yeah. So yes, I would love more children, and I would also really love to be brave and share the whole journey from start to finish. Like, say when I'm pregnant straight away, I'd have to ask Tom, I don't know how he'd feel about that, and take people on the realistic journey of what it's like to have a child when you have a genetic condition. But I don't know if I am brave enough. I don't know if I'm brave enough to be trolled about if I have to have an abortion, which will be exceptionally painful in itself, like beyond, you know, another loss for us. So I don't know. I don't even know if I'll get pregnant, you know, if the timings, I just don't, yeah. I'm 37, so we have to see. But God willing, I do get to be, and that that baby isn't affected by MLD, but I will still have to take the same road to that. And like I said, I would love to share it, to be helpful to other families and really honest and brutal about it. But I don't even know if I could tell people if I've had the abortion, if I have to have that option, because I just think I would be punished for it online, and I don't know if I can do that to myself. It feels like I don't think I could do it. So, for the bin. We will see. Maybe it will depend on how like reception is, you know, from different people. I've had lots of beautiful messages from lots of beautiful people when I put up this before about how I've put the wait time in for us to see someone so that we can have that early blood test. And if lots of people were so kind and like, you don't have to share anything, or, you know, people don't understand, but trolling can be awful. And trolling when you're pregnant, having to do something you don't want to do, like if I had to do the abortion, I don't know if I'll be strong enough. But yes, I would love more children. Like I say, I imagine a lot of land. I'm manifesting. Oh, I would love twins next. But then my brain goes, what if one twin had it, MLD, and the other twin didn't have MLD? Obviously then you'd go ahead for the treatment, but I don't think they'd be too happy about that, because that was the other thing, is there is treatment, as I always say, for MLD if caught early, but when you're pregnant, when you're first, it's not even discussed. It's not, oh, by the way, you could have the baby and they will have treatment. It's not an option. And also, as a side note, what is this? Bizarre. Bubbles. I don't know if I could leave my other children for that long. You know, that decision, obviously if you had to, you had to. But if you didn't have to, if you're making that decision, leaving Nelly, another bin option, leaving Nelly for 6 months to go and have treatment that might not even work, which is what we were told when I was in hospital. It might not even work. I don't know. A lot of people have said, I don't know why they said that. Oh, look, sparkly hair. But yeah, do you want it? Do you want it in your hair? Oh, you're so beautiful. Yeah, it wasn't offered it as an option. So yeah, so one question, it's taken me 20 minutes. But thank you for watching.